After reading Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman and making videos on those Absolute comics, I decided to take a leap into the other ones, and I started with Absolute Martian Manhunter. Now, honestly, I was just way too confused on what the hell was happening in the beginning of Martian Manhunter and still falling into place with the story and what's going on, etc., right? But let me try and explain everything to the best of my ability for you guys, because they purposely made the comic a bit trippy. Right, as you can see from the art is pretty goddamn good. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a while to kind of like get used to everything, but it's interesting. It's expressive in its own little way. It's just it's interesting. So they made John Jones and Martian Manhunter two separate beings. They are different beings where Manhunter is kind of possessing or inhabiting the body of the human FBI agent or investigator John Jones. Right. Think of it like a stand, like how stands work in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or the Venom, or the Venom symbiote, right? Closer to like how stands work with the Martian in his body. John is now seeing and experiencing memories and feelings, thoughts in ways I don't think we have visually seen from a Martian Manhunter comic before. Granted, this is probably my first like full-on Martian Manhunter comic, so I can't say that statement with stuff out and about, you know, full-on, you know, just taller than me, right? I can't do that, but this is just such an interesting comic with how they illustrated the powers of Martian Manhunter, right? It's great, honestly. I really did enjoy how they don't shy away from crazier stuff like the death and killing, the harder combat are being had here. I enjoy that it's a very mature comic, right? John Jones himself is even seen as an alien by his peers, as he is always kind of distant, not really shy, but kind of cold, a million miles away, closed off in many regards. And it seems like, you know, for the most part, I can't speak. For the most part, being an FBI agent is taking a toll on him and his relationship with his wife and son. I find it super interesting that Manhunter's powers, Manhunter's powers, with John, are having him experience so many things, right? Actually helping John see and feel the aspects he has been missing for such a long time. You know, being so closed off for such a long time and just having him kind of being like a whole different person. And, you know, it's just very interesting, right? Him being aware of thoughts and feelings, which in a way makes him a better man and a better, more, you know, just a better person in general, honestly. I love how the story has Manhunter just doing the wacky shit, because technically he is not there. He's in John's mind. How they both solved their first case together of a killer who has eluded the FBI, gets discovered by John after killing more people, and Manhunter has John distract him by pretending to be an old childhood friend he found in the shooter's memories. Then Manhunter would go into the shooter's mind, assess actually go ahead and get into his brain and find out, like, you know, what's going on with him at a psychological level and trying to fix him that way, right? Which, as someone who has 2 fucking degrees in psychology, I really appreciate that aspect. That's fucking cool, honestly. That is fucking sick. It all just boils down to the consumption of media, of his own fears and trauma, to a me versus everyone else, must kill them all mindset that drove him to be a fucking serial killer, honestly. So after actually fixing him, the police actually blow his fucking brains out. Like, what the fuck, right? And when they do this, his life flashes before his eyes, but Manhunter was still in his mind, so he got flashbanged. Then he realizes that what sparked this guy's crash out was the White Martian, right? And it's crazy. First of all, let me just talk about how fucking cool it is that Manhunter was in his head when he gets, you know, his head blown to the other side of the street, right, with a couple bullets. You know, experience like the flash between your eyes of your whole life going past, and that's how he figured out what the hell the White Martian is doing. I thought that shit was kind of fucking baller, I'm not gonna lie. But Manhunter explains that the White Martian is this thing that is basically a cosmic predator. Like its most basic and only function is to destroy, trying to explain it not to do so, to the point where Manhunter explains that it's like trying to teach a rock rocket science. Like that shit just does not work. So it seems like the White Martian is the reason why so many horrible things has been happening lately. First, manipulating this guy into being a mass murderer, to manipulating the sun somehow to create extreme heat to cause action and people to make mistakes and being short-tempered that cause death and destruction on a more massive scale. So much like distrust and relationships being broken and it's just crazy ass shit, right? John would go with his stand, Martian mindfucker. If you know, you know. I'm just gonna tell you now. Fucking Martian Manhunter named himself Martian mindfucker. It's fucking hilarious. Trying to stop people who are obsessed with, who are not obsessed, possessed by the White Martian's influence or manipulated by him or whatever the fuck, right? These people are burning and setting things on fire. Everything, everyone, themselves. It's insane, right? And it was interesting to see Manhunter destroy them by being with John and him just destroying that possessed part of them or destroying that sort of like manipulated part of them. It's insane. It was really interesting to see all these people sort of like suffering from the White Martian's manipulation and Martian Manhunter trying to like at least cure them or like break the connection between the White Martian and the person, right? Cool. This of course also affects John's wife, who is not very happy with him. I wonder why. And John just doesn't know what to do with any of this, especially with his recent behavior and just everything just being so fucking crazy, right? But they just really get into it, and like John realizes like his wife's feelings, and he sort of got on his knees and realized that he really has been not there and I can't speak, and not been a good husband or a good father. And at like almost the climax of their argument, because she was legit like thinking about leaving him, and so much going on, right? All the lights go out because nothing fear and panic and chaos than full-on darkness. The White Martian entity has manipulated people into blowing up the gas, electric, and oil facilities around that keep like the whole city like lit up or full of power or whatever, right? And causes a full-scale blackouts and probably would go ahead and do a lot more damage in the long run. This is where I reach where the story leaves off until the next issue. And honest to God, I want more. Everything is so interesting, and the way they have John and Manhunter deal with the threat together is just full on interesting. Definitely like my favorite from the three I've read so far, because I already read Absolute Flash and Green Lantern, and honestly, I'm going to talk about, but out of the three, this one is my favorite. It might be even a little bit better than Superman, mainly because Superman has like a lot of shit going on right now, and it's interesting prep into what they're building up, and this one just has like actual things going on. So I kind of have to put a step, like it's my third favorite, and while Superman dropped down to my fourth, but I know Superman will get up there because it's just shit happening in there. Overall, I fucking love Absolute Martian Manhunter. The art is funky and weird, but makes sense for how trippy the powers Martian Manhunter makes John have, I guess, right? And how John has these mind and perception abilities really just go ahead and changes him like so much, like, and how it's shown to us with the art is so weird, and it's great for artistic flair. You can just tell like they just want to go ahead and make not just like the people expressive, but like how the powers are being used by these beings, how they can be expressive as well, right? And overall, the plot is cool, and the White Martian being this entity that wishes to destroy everything, but not in the U directly, but making the people themselves destroy everything, and using various other factors is fucking dope. And I wonder how John Jones and his stand, Mindfucker, Martian Mindfucker, will defeat this cosmic predator. But yeah, I can't speak because it's so good. I'm not gonna lie, I went ahead and got mandated for 16 hours and had to work today, so I'm kind of fucked mentally. Okay. I highly suggest this comic. Honestly, it's pretty fun, but can be a bit confusing at times, but it's good. I highly recommend it. If you have read it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Where does it fall in your absolute comic top 6, sort of like list, right? I hope you guys have a great day. Honestly, just a great day, great time. Whenever you go ahead video, I just hope you're having a great time. Stay safe and healthy, mentally, emotionally, and physically. See you guys next time. Peace.